We've all seen it in the movies. A car jumps the curb, slams into a fire hydrant, and a massive geyser of water blasts into the sky. But in a modern crash, the hydrant usually snaps off and rolls away. No geyser, no flood, just dry pavement. Those cinematic fountains of water do happen, but they are typically limited to older, wet barrel hydrants found in warm coastal climates. These systems store pressurized water directly inside the iron casting you see at street level, with individual valves located right behind each nozzle. Most of the country cannot use that design. In colder regions, standing water above the ground would freeze, expand, and crack the iron during the first winter. To stop the ice, engineers moved the primary valve deep into the ground, below the frost line. This created the dry barrel design, a system where the visible iron post stays completely empty until it's needed. To see why a car crash is such a threat to this system, you have to look at the massive infrastructure buried beneath the asphalt. The actual water valve sits several feet underground, bolted directly to the city's municipal water main. These mains are under constant, intense pressure, often holding thousands of pounds of force per square inch. If a 4,000-pound vehicle hits a solid, unyielding iron pipe, that pipe acts like a massive mechanical lever. This leverage can snap the subterranean main, causing a high-pressure rupture several feet below the pavement. These ruptures wash away supporting soil, turning sections of the street into sinkholes and requiring the water department to shut down service for entire blocks. To protect the subterranean grid, engineers realized the hydrant couldn't be indestructible. It had to be designed to fail on impact. This is the AWWA traffic model fire hydrant. While it looks like a solid block of iron, the above-ground shell is hollow and dry. A long metal rod, called the operating stem, runs through the center of this empty barrel, connecting the top nut to the valve at the very bottom. The first failsafe is located just a few inches above the ground line. It's called the Breakaway flange. The flange uses precision-machined bolts designed to shear cleanly when they encounter the lateral force of a car bumper. Snapping the outer bolts frees the barrel, but that leaves the internal operating stem. If that rod bends or warps during the crash, it can wedge the underground valve open. A bent stem would create a permanent leak that can't be shut off from the surface. To prevent this, engineers added a second intentional weak link called a frangible stem coupling. This coupling fractures almost instantly on impact. The top half of the hydrant rolls away, leaving the underground valve and the lower half of the stem completely untouched. But with the top of the hydrant sheared off, what stops the pressurized city water from shooting out of the open pipe? The secret is that the main valve closes with the water pressure, not against it. Normally, the upper rod pushes the valve down to let water in. Once sheared away, surging pressure from the city mains slams the rubber valve upward against its seat. The system uses its own force to seal the break. The higher the water pressure, the tighter the seal becomes. Because of these sacrificial parts, the aftermath of a collision is a dry sidewalk and an intact water main. This avoids the cost of heavy excavation, road reconstruction, and the specialized labor required to patch a high-pressure rupture. A utility worker can restore fire protection in minutes using a standard repair kit of new bolts and a single coupling. This design represents a shift in engineering philosophy. Instead of trying to build something indestructible, designers utilize sacrificial components. By selecting exactly where and how a system will fail, engineers ensure that a minor accident doesn't compromise the entire city's infrastructure. Next time you see a hydrant, look at the base for that notched flange. It's the only thing standing between a fender bender and a citywide emergency.